Welcome and thanks for joining this webinar brought to you by iStock by Getty Images. My name is Elvira Camerari and I work at Getty Images. Just a couple of items before I introduce the webinar and our speaker for this session. We are recording this session, so if you'd like to watch it again and share it with friends and colleagues, it will be available from tomorrow, and we'll share that info with you and how to access it via email after the session is finished. I hope all of you can hear me okay via the audio stream on your computers. If you do have problems with audio, you can call in and listen to the audio on the phone. There are dial-in numbers on the calendar confirmation you will have received. If you need a local number, please contact me using the chat window in the bottom left-hand corner and I can provide you that number. Speaking of audio, we will be sharing a couple of video clips with audio attached, but you will only be able to hear the audio if you are listening in via your computer speakers. If you are dialed in via your phone line, you will see the video, but you will not be able to hear the audio. You will have the opportunity to review in the recording if needed. And speaking of chat, if you can make comments or ask questions using the chat window or report any issues with sound or visual quality here in the bottom left-hand corner too. After the talk, we'll be opening up the floor to questions. So if you do have any questions that come to mind, please ask in the chat window bottom left and we'll make time for it after the talk. So now on to the main event. Today we'll be exploring how to choose standout imagery. I'm delighted to be joined here today with Lindsay Morris, who is Manager of Creative Planning at Getty Images. As Manager of Creative Planning at Getty Images, Lindsay Morris performs research analysing the meaning, the implementation and impact photos and videos have in today's visual world. This research provides advertising, marketing and publishing professionals with imagery that resonates strongly with their target audiences and helps build the profile of their businesses, products and communications. Over the next 30 minutes or so, Lindsay will be taking us through a deeper look at 4 factors that make a powerful visual and how you can choose imagery to engage your audience. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Lindsay.
Great. Thanks, Elvira. Hey, everyone. I'm so glad you could all join us for our presentation today. I want to make sure we just get a little time for questions at the end, so I'm just going to jump right in. We all know that we live in a very visual world, and because of this, we are all becoming far more fluent in the language of imagery. But with an avalanche of pictures and video coming at us every day on screens and in print, the question our customers are asking us more and more is how can we make our brand stand out, and how can we choose the most powerful pictures? Something we're also asked more and more is how do we find the best pictures? So today I'm going to talk about both. I'll start with showing you some ways to really focus and refine your imagery searches, and then we'll look a little more broadly at how to choose the best imagery. And throughout my presentation, I'll also weave in some helpful keyword suggestions in there as well. So first, I want to just walk through a few ways to navigate iStock more easily and efficiently when you're doing your own imagery searches. Looking through our curated content by subject is a great way to begin. If you click on each medium's homepage, meaning stills, video, or illustration, you'll see these 3 landing pages. Each one has many curated light boxes and topic searches. They're drilled down by the most relevant subjects, and they showcase a lot of our most standout imagery. We also have some good ways to refine your search if you're looking for more specific topics. The first is by clicking the Refine tab on the left, and then clicking the Only from iStock box. This will give you all of our exclusive content that you can't find anywhere else. And for any searches that you do, make sure to utilize the 3 viewing options. The first is Best Match, which brings you a more weighted search based on your search terms. The second is New, which shows you our newest content. And the third is Most Popular, meaning the images that people are viewing and downloading the most. Play around with all 3 of these when you do a search to see what comes up. They all have their benefits, and it's a really good way to get an overall snapshot of the topic that you're searching for. And we have a few more refined tools which will work well to narrow your results, like license type, people or no people, composition, and size, which I think are all pretty self-explanatory. But one of my favorite refined tools is the color spectrum. This tool lets you play around with the color palette of your imagery. It begins in neutral, But if you just click anywhere within that spectrum, you will get a canvas of images within your color search. There are so many possibilities to choose from, and it can really help to group like-minded imagery together this way, especially if your brand has a specific color palette that you need to work within. And then I want to make sure you guys know about a brand new feature we just added last week. You can now search by the upload date. This is especially good when you search for the same topics over and over again, or if you find a photographer or videographer that you like and you want to keep checking in on their work. And then once you found an image that resonates with you, I recommend utilizing our Lightbox feature. I'm sure most of you already use these for your projects to group specific content together and to share with your colleagues. But I also recommend using Lightboxes as brainstorming or reference tools. Whenever you see an image you're drawn to, put it in a Lightbox for reference. In that way, maybe it's not the right image for this specific project you're currently working on, but come around to the next project, you can easily find it. This sort of bucketing will also help you not only when you're looking for more images down the road, it'll also highlight photographers and videographers that you are specifically drawn to, and then you can begin searching by just those specific contributors right off the bat, since you know that you like their work. Okay, so now that we know some tools to help us find the right images, let's move on to the 4 I's, which will help you choose the most powerful images. These 4 I's stand for imperfection, inclusivity, immersion, and imagination. We'll start with imperfection. With camera phones and social media being more popular than ever, we've become far more used to seeing humans in all shapes and sizes. The age of heavily retouched models is over. Real people and real bodies are being shown more and more in advertising and media. And even the styling and art direction is changing in visuals. We've all been seeing a huge shift in commercial imagery, steadily veering away from the traditional or produced look. Every time I meet with clients, their biggest concern is being able to find imagery that their audience can relate to. They want shoots that look less perfect, less art-directed, and much more real. As you can see in these ads, these people are all caught up in a moment. They're messy, their clothes are practical, their hair is not perfect. These new ads for Netflix have the same authentic feeling. They're really all about the realness of these shared family moments. And this new Panera ad also has this natural, candid feeling. It shows people who are happy and who are sad. A kid is wearing a cast, and even people who have food stuck in their teeth and all over their face. Something my team studies a lot, besides just our top-selling imagery, which we do learn a lot from, is our Getty Images and iStock customer search data. We spend a great deal of time looking at what our clients are searching for to tell their brand stories. When we see specific keywords on the rise, we really take note of this because it means we should be producing more of that type of content. For example, the keyword imperfection went up 68% in search in the past year, and the keyword authenticity went up 21% in search in the past year. Using iStock or Getty Imagery with styling and casting like these will add to the spirit of authenticity and trustworthiness to your brand. And it will also give heart to your message. It'll connect with your audience on a deeper level by celebrating how wonderfully messy real life really is. And as part of this authenticity trend, brands are embracing real bodies as well, from Aerie's No Photoshop pledge to ModCloth, using their own employees to model their clothing. And more brands are even speaking directly to this unrealistic notion of the perfect body by even using hashtags such as I'm no angel. And this real body trend isn't just for women. Target is currently featuring a plus-size male model to sell their products. And this year's Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition featured a plus-size model on the cover. And while, please do not get me wrong, I would never, ever argue that the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition moves the needle forward in the quest for authenticity. But nonetheless, we are seeing real bodies being recognized and celebrated more and more by a lot of different brands. And knowing this, we have an increasing amount of imagery that shows people with real bodies, who are confident, who are proud, and who are real. Our internal search data shows that the keyword real bodies went up 42% in search in the past year. And we've also entered a time where age is being celebrated with all of its wrinkles. The year after 60 are now seen as years of possibility, and it's being shown in companies' core marketing. From cosmetics to accessories to clothing, more and more brands are celebrating age instead of feeling sorry for it. So when we create images at iStock and Getty of seniors, we think of words like vitality and wisdom. These people wear their experiences like a badge of honor, and we want to celebrate that. Internally, our data shows that the phrase seniors having fun went up 157% in search in the past year. And this aesthetic continues to food imagery as well. With Instagram, everyone seems to consider themselves a foodie these days, but the way food is being presented in imagery is now often gooey and sticky and messy and far from perfect. Lurpak's latest campaign is all about being more creative and playful in the kitchen. It appeals to our sense of taste and smell. It focuses more on the experience and less on perfection. I'm going to go ahead and play this commercial. Remember, if you're dialed in through the phone, you won't hear the audio, but it will be on the recording afterwards, and this is really all about the visuals anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to try something a little different. We're going freestyle. Hit it. Let's find a groove. Something that feels right. Now grab some bread. Yeah. Take a pinch of who knows what. A dash of what the hell. A little look back. Spread it, baby. Now how about some heat? Whoa, too much heat. That's it right there. Man, those guys are cooking. That's food. Go freestyle with Lurpak Spreadable.
So when we produce food imagery like this at iStock and Getty, we love playing around with messes and textures. Internally, we've seen a whole host of messy search terms going up, from messy food, which went up 164% in search in the past year, to messy home, which went up 152%, messy table went up 319%, and messy floor went up 1,224% in search, all in the past year. And an extension of these imperfections is what we're calling the glitch aesthetic. These are popular images with sun flares, bits of blur, and other quote-unquote mistakes that are becoming more and more wanted. This also stems largely due to the user-generated Instagram, Snapchat, social media culture that's happening today. We now love seeing these aberrations in imagery. And in this Michael Kors ad on the left, it even takes up the entire page. Here are some more ads that use these types of glitches. So at Getty and iStock, we are embracing these glitches in our imagery too, with light streaks and sun speckles and splashing water and these fun filmy filters. Our data shows that the keyword glitch went up 50% in search in just the past year. Here are some of the best keywords you can use to find this type of imperfect imagery. You can search by lens flare, real people, candid, and authenticity. And on a similar note to authenticity, showing people of varied backgrounds and experiences is no longer an option for brands, it is imperative. Equal representation and visibility are top of mind these days, so campaigns must be as diverse as possible. We've seen a huge rise in demand for non-Caucasian people, people of differing abilities, and people in the LGBT community, and we predict this will only increase. You can see advertisers as showing racial diversity across all industries. And our customers are demanding that we have this type of diverse content on iStock and Getty Images. And I can tell you, this diverse content is selling, and it is selling well. Internally, our data shows that mixed race family went up in search by 208% in the past year. And the LGBT community is another group that's being depicted more often in marketing and advertising across all types of brands, from finance to jewelry to pharmaceuticals, fashion, electronics, tourism, and even food. During all the Star Wars hype, Campbell's Soup came out with their clever Real Life campaign featuring same-sex parents, which I'll play for you right now. Again, the audio will not be heard if you're called in, but it will be on the recording.
Dun 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 dun. Cooper, I am your father.
No, no, no. I am your father. Oh.
That's got to be the worst Vader ever.
Campbell's Star Wars Soups.
How about you be Chewbacca?
Made for real life.
And at iStock and Getty, we've been expanding their same-sex couples content too. Internally, our data shows that same-sex as a keyword went up in search 4 times in the last 5 years, and LGBT went up in search by 11 times in the last 5 years. Additionally, LGBT wedding went up in search 67%. And transgender activists like Caitlyn Jenner, Laverne Cox, CEOs, models, and the TV and film industry are all speaking to the importance of the trans community being seen and being heard. This is some of our transgender content on iStock and Getty. Internally, transgender as a keyword went up in search by 5 times over the last 5 years, and transgender model went up in search over 40 times in just the past year. And brands like Equinox, MAC, Diesel, Parrot, and Gucci are all featuring gender fluid models to sell their products. This new Diesel advertisement shows this gender fluidity pretty clearly. And Facebook, the ruler of all societal trends, has released 50 different options for their gender category so people can self-identify however they wish. And at Getty and iStock, we like it. And because of all this, we have updated our model release on iStock and Getty that has a 3rd blank gender option so models can identify however they wish and we can accurately keyword them. And we've been increasing our gender fluid and androgynous content on Getty and iStock as well. Internally, our customer data shows that searches for gender neutral went up 106% in search in the past year. And probably the newest chapter of inclusivity is that we're starting to see people with differing abilities portrayed in media and advertising. From running shoes to protein powder to insurance companies to the cover of Men's Health magazine, people with differing abilities are being celebrated. And this is trickling down into our children's toys as well. Late last year, Sesame Street debuted their first character with autism named Julia, and there's a big push in general right now for children's toys to be more inclusive, showing kids that they can have toys that really look like them too. During Halloween, Target featured a child with differing abilities, modeling their Princess Elsa costume, which of course is one of the most popular costumes of the season. And this summer, LEGO will release its first ever minifigure that uses a wheelchair. And recently, Honeymaid came out with a commercial highlighting families with differing abilities. What's important to note is that the mother's disability was incidental to the scene in this advertisement. In fact, you only see it for a few seconds, and they don't specifically reference it at all. And even Beyonce's newest merchandise campaign features a model in a wheelchair, front and center, right on the homepage of shop.beyonce.com. So when we create images like these on iStock and Getty, we want to make sure that the model's differing abilities are secondary to the strong subject, styling, and composition. It's about showing these subjects as authentically and as real as possible. And these are some of the best keywords to find this type of inclusive content on iStock: LGBT, differing abilities, and for racial diversity, just type in whichever ethnicity you're looking for. And the third I stands for Immersion, which is all about imagery that makes you feel like you are part of the experience. And this I is definitely in response to our advancing mobile technologies. The more plugged in we are, the more designers try to engage our senses and make us forget we're viewing much of the world through our screens. There are more sophisticated cameras now than ever before, which can capture imagery with extreme or personal points of view, which we call POV. This means we can now create pictures that make the viewer feel like they're experiencing the scene firsthand. Companies like GoPro and Apple are pushing the boundaries of photography with their video cameras and iPhones. And this allows for new access and new angles to be seen like never before, right from a personal perspective. You can also have a lot of fun with these. I love seeing ads that feel empowered to show a chicken on skis or a mailbox taking a selfie like they do. And speaking of fun, GoPro did a hilarious commercial that put a camera on a baby while he was being thrown up in the air. We've all seen this from our perspective before, but trust me, this is way better, and I'll play it now. At Getty Images and iStock, we also have a lot of fun producing first-person perspective imagery. And as you can see, this perspective is about as authentic as you can get. It can be pretty intimate and funny as well. And this immersion in imagery is happening at every scale. We're seeing a rise in lush, macro, super sensory images that make us feel as though we are part of the experience, capturing the majesty of the world around us. And at Getty and iStock, we tap into this feeling too. We show people who are immersed in experience and macro close-ups of everyday things that look surprising and new. Supersensory imagery can work for any subject, such as food and nature too. With this type of imagery, we just want the audience to feel something. Internally, our data shows that the keyword macro went up 61% in search in the past year, and supersensory went up 83% in search in the past year. And searches for POV, meaning personal perspective, went up 52% in the past year. These are good keywords to search for when you're looking for this type of content. And of course, we can't talk about immersion without talking about this new age of virtual reality. Oculus Rift started showing up at people's doorsteps just a few weeks ago, which makes it the first high-end consumer virtual reality system to come to market. It'll soon be joined by others, but it is the Rift that is leading the charge. Searches for virtual reality on iStock and Getty went up 360% in the past year. And at Getty Images, we've recently partnered with Oculus to shoot 360 imagery. So even if you can't be at these amazing events with us, you can immerse yourself in the experience and you can feel like you're there. And with so much imagery all around us and so many brands using this authentic real-life sensibility that we discussed earlier, they can run the risk of having their campaign look a bit similar to each other. So that is where the fourth I comes in, which is the power of imagination. All it takes is suspending your disbelief just a little to freshen up timeless concepts and evergreen brands. We're seeing a lot of fantastical kaleidoscope imagery, like this Nordstrom ad, and imagery that plays with replication. Even car companies, such as Volkswagen, are really using their imagination. And at Getty Images and iStock, we ask ourselves the same questions you do. How can we make or choose imagery that has a new sense of wonder and imagination? How can we keep these timeless concepts fresh and current? We found that by pushing the boundaries of imagination when creating content and allowing ourselves to be as experimental and playful as possible, we consistently resurrect old ideas and we give them new life. We, of course, also do this by working with the most innovative photographers and videographers in the world, and we encourage their personal styles and their unique perspectives. Our internal data shows that the search term bizarre went up 26% in search in the past year, dreamy went up 156%, and surreal landscape went up 248% in search in the past year. And we love seeing interesting crops and scales and perspectives. The sky really is the limit here. This Emirates ad really struck me, showcasing the dreamy, expansive sky that almost takes up the entire frame, and then the little Big Ben shown just as this tiny little jewel in the bottom left corner. Also, this Ace Hotel ad made us really pause too, which is nothing more than a sunset-esque gradient, but it asks the viewer to suspend their disbelief and use it as a portable sunset. And at iStock and Getty, we feel empowered to make bold choices about skylines and what's on the next horizon. We love playing around with scale and with hyper-manipulated imagery. We have a lot of fun with interesting crops and with new perspectives. And sometimes we just flip all the rules right on their head. So to find this awe-striking imagery, use keywords such as bizarre, imagination, and abstract. All right, so that's about it from me. So just to wrap up, these are the 4 I's that I just described that will help you choose more powerful imagery and will make your brand stand out. Imperfection, meaning real people, real bodies, active seniors, messy food, and embracing those glitches. Inclusivity, meaning racial diversity, the LGBT community, and people with differing abilities. Immersion, meaning imagery from a personal perspective and supersensory imagery. And imagination, the sky is the limit here. Have fun, take chances playing around with scale and crops and perspective. And if you want more creative insight, please take a look at our online trend magazine called Stories and Trends. This site covers all areas of our business, but my team is specifically under the Visual Insights tab. So that's stories.gettyimages.com. All right, Elvira, I think we have time for a few questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Lindsay. All right, so we have a couple of questions that have come in. So question 1, do the 4 I's work for iStock video content as well?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yes, absolutely. So when I say imagery, I definitely mean stills and video throughout this whole presentation. It could often mean illustration as well. All 4 I's work for video. I would definitely say Immersion lends itself specifically to video with the POV and the supersensory imagery. All can definitely be applied. Also, I should mention that we do have 4K video on iStock, if not at a higher cost point than HD, which we're the only ones in the market that offer that. Others charge upwards to $200, but we do offer 4K video at $65, so that is a steal. Check that out.
Okay, awesome. All right, so another question. I'm seeing some images in your presentation that aren't available to me in my current subscription. How do I get access to them for iStock? We have 2 subscription off. How do I get access to them?
Okay, no problem. So we on iStock, we have Essentials and Signature. So to gain access to all of iStock imagery, you can definitely move into the Signature offering if you don't already. That might be one difference that you're seeing. Our sales team can definitely help provide you with options to that. And then also we did highlight some Getty Images content, so our sales team can provide options for you there as well. We have Ultra Packs on Getty Images. And if you guys don't have a sales rep or you don't know who they are, please reach out to 1-800-IMAGERY.
Okay, we have a couple more questions, I think. Let me just check through the chat line. Okay, can you provide us with a few search terms to find diverse images quickly?
Sure. So I did mention a few of them. I mentioned you can search by specific ethnicities, which is great. You can search by LGBT. You can search by transgender. You can search by androgynous. You can search by differing abilities. I would also definitely recommend our Lean In collection on iStock. That is a collection that we've partnered with leanin.org, and we have very diverse imagery on that. You can find it on the homepage. I believe if you scroll down, there's sort of a curated light box of all the Lean In imagery. And that is definitely a place that's one of my go-tos. But there's lots of diverse imagery all across the iStock content. I think those are the best. Searching by age is also a good one.
Okay, awesome. All right, I think they are all the questions we can get to today, but feel free to send through any other questions and we can try and get to them post the live session. Once again, thank you for joining us today, and thank you, Lindsay, for a really great presentation. We have recorded this session, so if you'd like to watch it again and share it with your friends and colleagues, it will be available from tomorrow, and we will be sending you a link via email so you can take another look. Once again, thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed what you saw today, and we look forward to seeing you at future events. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.